What's up, Dallas? It's your girl Rachel. We are back with another fabulous guest on our 2025 season. Miss Mo, how are you doing, ma'am?
I am blessed, highly favored, and excited to be on the show.
I'm excited that you're here. I
Thank
know
you.
you've been going through it. You've really been going through it since our last interview.
Yes,
So
I have.
I, I have considered you like literally you are definitely a warrior in my eyes, but you've been
Thank you.
battling cancer.
I
And you
have.
just completed your 12th round of chemo,
Yes, yes, I
your
have.
final one.
My final one.
Oh my gosh, like I know that somebody out there is going to need to hear your journey from the moment that you discovered it and all the way to what has motivated you to finish your last chemo round. So I'll let you take the floor this time.
Okay, well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for your support. Yes, I have stage three colorectal cancer. I've had 12 chemo treatments. Um, I've had some anxiety breakdowns, some big depression increases. And the first time I found out I had it, I was so sick. I had been sick for a week. And to be honest with you, since my son died in 2022, I didn't want to live anymore. I just would not kill myself or suicide, but I didn't want to live anymore. I just didn't. So I laid in the bed for a week without using the bathroom, drinking water, without eating. And I had a conversation with God. I said, "You got a choice. You either going to help me get up out of this bed and get to where I can get help, or you're going to take me home right now. Either way it goes, I'm ready." So I got up and it was so hard. I couldn't get up. I was so weak. As a matter of fact, I was malnutritioned. And when
Mhm.
I got up, I drugged myself to the front door. I couldn't even walk. And there was a young girl I saw walking on my sidewalk by my apartment. And I screamed out to her and she goes, "Oh my God, are you all right?" I said, "No, can you call 911?" So she calls 911 and the ambulance comes and they try to start an IV. They couldn't because say your veins are, oh my God, you have nothing. So they put it in my thumb.
Mhm.
And then I went to the ER. When I got to the ER, the doctors told me you are malnutritioned horribly. They kept asking me, "Are you on drugs? Have you used, drugs? Or do you have anorexia? Do you have bulimia?" Mind you, I had lost over 100 pounds.
Mhm.
And I just didn't see it. I just didn't want to be here anymore. I get to the ER and they tell me I'm malnutritioned and we're going to keep you for a while. I was like, okay. They started doing all these tests, and I kept saying, "I know it's something they're looking for." Mind you, before that week of me not eating or drinking, I had been going to gastro doctors trying to figure out what was wrong, and they told me I had Crohn's disease. I don't have Crohn's disease. I would have bloody stools 30, 40 times a day, and they were productive, and they were straight blood. And I was trying to tell doctors, I don't know what's happening, something's wrong. So I stopped going to the doctor. And then when I stopped, within that week, I just said, I don't want to be here anymore. So they admit me, and then I get a gastro doctor comes up to me and she said, "Okay, I'm going to test a few things and we're going to do a lot of tests on you. And we think we've got two things. We're either going to find cancer or you don't have cancer." And I'm like, cancer? It never dawned on me. But I wasn't surprised because between everything that happened from 2020 to that time, I wasn't surprised. I told her, okay. So she did a lot of tests and colonoscopies and everything. And they came back and they said, "You have an 8 centimeter mass in your rectum. We don't even know how you're using the bathroom." And I
Mhm.
was like, I didn't know what to say. And I started crying. I started calling relatives and nobody came. Nobody answered the phone. I think one day later, my daughter came. My sister, baby sister came, maybe one day later. But they asked me, "Do you want to live or no?" And I was like, "What do you mean? We're going to fight or we're not going to fight?" And within a day, I had to decide if I was going to fight or not fight. I didn't have it in me to fight, but the doctors did. And they said, "We're going to put a port in your chest," which I still have. "We're going to put a port in your chest and we're going to go from there, but you're going to have to fight with me and it's not going to be easy." I didn't even get a chance to blink. And I turned around. I was in surgery, getting a port in my chest. I was screaming the whole time because it wasn't pain. It was terror. I was traumatized. I didn't see my mama, I didn't see my daughter, I didn't see my daddy, I didn't see nobody. It was just all me and God.
Mhm.
And so from there, they said in a week or so, we got to get your weight up. And I'm like, what do you mean? They put me on a scale. I was 130 pounds. I've never seen it in my life. They showed me pictures as of the other day where my face was collapsed because I had no, like right now, I have some muscles because I work out a lot now because I like this
Mhm.
size kind of. But all the malnutrition, I lost muscle mass. So that was my buttocks, my thighs, my arms, my face. I lost all muscle mass. And they built me up within 2 weeks, enough for me to get more tests. And when I got more tests, oh my God, it was a week later, I was in chemo. And walking in that building, I lost my breath. I hyperventilated. And I took an Uber because I didn't want to drive. I took an Uber back to the hospital to do chemo, and I lost my breath. And when I lost my breath, it was people in there who had cancer too, who walked up to me, hugged and kissed me, helped me get up, and walked me back to the infusion room. Going to
Mhm.
the infusion room, you see so many stages of cancer. You see people who are struggling so bad. You see people with feeding tubes. You see people like me who just have no clue. And when I got in there, they said, "This is your first treatment." And I was like, yeah. And I still had not absorbed the fact that I have cancer. I'm like, God, why don't you just let me go? Why don't you just, I'm good. I'll box up my junk. I'll organize my storage so people won't see my junk. But when I go, I want to go. I don't want to do this. Then I started thinking during chemo, look at these other people. It's not just you. And every time, I kid you not, every time I went to treatment, I was in tears. It was never for me. It was always felt like somebody's not going to be here when I get back.
Mhm.
So, in the process of having to go through all that, my family disappeared, especially my mother. She told me, I can't do this. You got too many other family members, too many other people. You're gonna have to reach out to them. I can't do this. I tried to call my mother. I tried to see my mother. Sick as I was, I could barely. I learned I couldn't walk for the first three treatments. It was so strong, and she told me it's gonna hit you like a ton of bricks. I had anxiety attacks. I got on the patio. I thought I was outside and I wasn't. I was on my patio about to step over. So they switched medications. Oh my God, I was on fentanyl, morphine for pain, hydrocodone, Zoloft for depression. I think it was a total of 25 pills that they were trying.
Mhm.
I love my oncologist because she found the perfect combination. And she is a good listener. So she goes, you don't like that feeling, let's try this. You don't like that feeling, let's try that. Um, but the first treatment, I lost my taste. I lost the feeling I still don't have feeling in my uh, fingers and some of my toes.
Mhm.
Neuropathy set in really quick with me. Um, I can't eat anything cold. I just started eating things that are cold. I couldn't eat ice cream, no ice, no soda, no nothing. So I stopped eating. And then when they gained 5 pounds, they helped me gain 5 pounds with the chemo. I would lose 10 because I'd stop eating. It brought anxiety out of the roof. I
Mhm.
mean, anxiety where I couldn't breathe. I thought I was having a heart attack. Then when I would pass, like right now, when I have a bowel movement, it's very painful because the mass is less than a centimeter, thank God.
Right.
So they're going to do the surgery to remove that part of my intestine. And then they're going to, then they told me, you'll be done. So I said, I'm halfway. They said, you passed halfway. Um, Not having family members while you're doing it sparked a book from me that I'm writing called Motherless Child. And it's about going through cancer by yourself. And it's not by yourself, I guess you could say with familiar faces, because oncology doesn't let you go through it by yourself. I have a therapist now, and I have a psychiatrist now, and we focus on my traumas. And that's why in my background, you see who I am because I don't want to be inside anymore. It's on the outside. I'm very Afrocentric. And I had to focus on those things while I was going through treatment. Since I had treatment last week, I still don't feel well.
Mhm.
But I don't feel as bad as I did. Um, I'm still in shock that I made it through the 12 treatments. I didn't think I was going to make it. I think I was hoping I wouldn't because I was ready to go. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I didn't start focusing on living until I got maybe to treatment six because my doctors were so excited. They were like, yes, you tolerated this work. I know you're sick, but your body's tolerating it. So they would test me and see that the mass was shrinking smaller and smaller and smaller.
Wow.
I'm blessed I don't have the bloody stools anymore. I have regular stool, which is what they were shooting for. Um, but the next thing is to get that mass out of there and pay attention to the colorectal. For me, came, they said it came from my history. My uncle had the same exact thing and my grandfather had the same exact thing. I'm rare. A lot of women don't have colorectal cancer. I'm one of the rare women to have it. um, but I discovered that truly one day at a time is the only way you can make it. The
Mm-hmm.
only way you can make it. Um, I my support system was God. My daughter stepped up. My baby sister stepped up. My baby sister said, "My God, if it's me, what happens?" I said, "It'd be my turn to support you." So we know we got each other.
Oh.
But I know I'm not the only person out there going through cancer by themselves because I've seen people in infusion rooms crying by themselves, and I would go sit with them or I would give them my phone number. I don't know. I would just be in Mo. I'm always be Mo. And I just wanted to forget about my pain and help someone else, and it helped me forget
Mm-hmm.
enough to make it through. So, yeah, chemo's no joke. um, I think one of the worst things you can do is act as if you understand because you don't. One thing I really would upset me so bad is when people would say, at least you're alive. At least it wasn't a four. At least, that don't do that. Don't,
Mm-hmm.
don't, don't do that. You don't know. Just sit there, look at them, hug them, hold their hand, hold their, get a cold towel if they're sick. Be there, but I won't say voiceless, but I'll say be there for them to vent and talk to you.
Yeah.
Um, and that's something we don't. We want to fix it. We have the answer. You don't. You don't. Not for this. Not for this fight. You don't have the answer. So
Yeah.
the support is. I don't. I think when I'm with the chemo, sometimes I would get dropped off, but after chemo, my family. I would walk upstairs and my family would be like, "Okay, see you next time," and I wouldn't hear anything else until the next treatment. And the walls were closing in. I got a little dog. So if you don't have a little friend, a cat or a dog or bird, you need one. Especially
Mm-hmm.
if you go through chemo because they love on you and they know when something's wrong. So my
Mm-hmm.
little friend Buddy, um, that's what he was for me. Now he's a service dog. So I think I know, I keep saying think, but I know God has a plan for us. I don't know how long it's going to take for us to get there. I don't know if it'll be short stints. I don't know if it'll be 10 years, but God has a plan for us, even if you have the curse word cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't say it at first. I just couldn't. I
Yeah.
say I have it, or when we're dealing with it, I could never say cancer until I got to maybe the 10th treatment. I don't have that. I can't say that. I can't own that. But I had to own it enough to get rid of it. I had to identify it and say, okay, it's me or you, and the cancer's got to go. So that sparked more fight in me. But I wouldn't wish this on nobody. I really
Yeah.
wouldn't. But some of us have it. Some of us
Mm-hmm.
do. But I told myself, if I can get past this, I'm going to blow the roof off of what I don't know, whether it's singing, writing, whatever it is, you gonna remember me because I want to blow the roof off. And that's how I feel right now.
Yeah. I
That's
think
exactly
that
how
book, I think that book that you have coming up is your next step
I
because
think so too.
mm-hmm. And
I think
it's such a powerful title too. You said motherless child,
yes,
which that by itself, just the title of it, it captures me to want to understand why you said that. But
yes,
when
definitely.
you're saying that you were going through the cancer treatment and that your mother didn't stay with you, she was literally, I can't do this. It was like
Yes.
That's where that title originated
Yes,
from.
it is where it originated from because um, my baby sister is a lot like me. I raised my baby sister basically. I'm the oldest. It's like what 13-year difference, something like that. And
Hmm.
she feels the same way. She feels like because she's she found her fiance demise in the bed, and
Hmm.
she hasn't really come back from that. But she said Mama told me the same thing. You got to just deal with it and go to God and get over it. And she walked away from her. I didn't know she had found her fiance demised. I didn't know anything about it.
Hmm.
And when she told me that, she said, I just told her, we told each other, we don't have a mother, but we got each other. So don't think you don't. And we watch out for each other, something we never did. We have a middle sister, but my middle sister kind of thinks like my mother, and we have a father too. He never said two words. He
Hmm.
never. He told me he can't. I can't deal. I can't see you 130 pounds. I was like, Daddy, I weigh 130 pounds. And
Hmm.
what I did was I call it my skinny sexy. I was like, okay, I gotta learn to be skinny sexy now. Okay, let's switch it up. I'm gonna get in the plus size. Then it go down to the little ones. Okay, fine. This is good. So I had to look at it like that because this is that Monica. This Monica, that Monica's gone. Because
Hmm.
you can never get tomorrow, but yesterday back. So you have to embrace who you are now. For me, I'm still in the financial struggle because trying to come back from cancer treatment and not working and not getting benefits. It's a hard road, but God has been there the whole time. I think my son, even though he's not on this earth, he's been there the whole time too. There were times when I'd be in bed and wouldn't want to get out, and sure enough, I would see his face and he would hug me, and I would wake up, and then I'd be okay. One more shot. Okay, one more try. So I know there are people out there by themselves going through it. And I don't want them to go through it by themselves.
Yeah.
I really don't. Even if I don't like you, I don't want you to go through this. And if you got to go through it, not by yourself. And it's okay to cut off those who are not pouring positive into you at this time. It's okay to say, hey, you know what? When I get past this, let me reach back out to you because they may not be strong enough to. And it's trauma. I'm not gonna lie to you. The vomiting, the diarrhea, the dizziness, the hair loss, um, all of it. You turn white. Like I'm learning to wear makeup because you're pale, because you're so nauseous. You can't eat. Anything you smell makes you sick. It's just a lot to it, but it's not a hidden secret. It
Hmm.
shouldn't be a hidden secret. It
It
shouldn't.
shouldn't. It,
No,
sh- it should be something that people should be more understanding and more compassionate about because
and
in
it's
the
okay. Yeah,
yeah, I mean we're all humans and we all live and breathe and bleed the same. So, I think that the fact that you were surrounded with that community while you were doing your treatments is made it a lot easier for you to handle what you were going through. Even
exactly.
though the family wasn't there, you still had the strangers who were showing you compassion.
There's a part of the book that I wrote that I separated from my relatives to find my family, and that's what it means. It's
Hmm.
people that are assigned to you, I think, from God that have um, like-minded compassion and empathy for trauma and situations in life, and you don't. I'm not judgmental. My ex-husband was a man that was a former a drug abuser. I never brought it up because it was never important to me. It was never. And that's the one thing to this day he will say he greatly appreciated was the fact that I never, because I'm not judgmental. I'm not you. I wasn't you when I could just imagine what kind of trauma you went to. I mean, he was incarcerated for 7 years. I could imagine what would happen. So I just don't judge people. I don't judge my mother, but it's unacceptable. I don't have excuses for her. Um, but I do I hate any of them? No.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna give that in my energy. Going through cancer, my energy, every ounce of my energy has to be positive and for me.
Hmm.
And that's something that cancer can teach you. the hard way. I'm stubborn, so I think God had to kind of like get the big stick out on me. I'm very stubborn. I'm like, you're
That's
right.
aw.
I
That's like
am.
a that's one of those that's one of those thoughts you're just like, oh my gosh, like I had to go through this to get through it.
You better
Like
believe it. And I
uh
think I lost my fire. I lost Mo. And Mo
mhm,
had so many things stuck to her from her experiences and people that I knew, and me trying to be my ex-husband's wife that he wanted. And I had all these layers. I think because I weighed 230 pounds, so that my biggest. And God shed all those layers down to this lean woman who weighs 150.
mhm,
So I think this is Mo.
mhm,
That was the Monica and the Mo that the world created. This is the Mo that God birthed. This is the Mo that God created. And when I would look at myself in the mirror, especially a long mirror, full mirror, oh my God, I could see my ribs, I could see my pelvis area. I said, okay, you got to do better. How do you do better? So that's when I would started reading scripture, and realizing it not just words, they have power in those words. I
mhm,
start talking positive to myself instead of talking, I'm not going to be able to this, I can't this, I won't this. I stop that. And sometimes I slip into it, but not often. I
mhm,
realize that I do have severe anxiety. I have very severe anxiety. I never knew what it was, but it's okay that I know I have anxiety and I have triggers. I know what they are. So all this came from getting a cancer diagnosis. Uh,
mhm.
Stage three, I'm barely a stage three, which is a blessing. It could have been stage four or we can't do anything, but it wasn't. God said
Right.
something different. So, um, yeah, I think it proves that I'm a tough cookie and I don't know how. It's just
Mhm,
sometimes you get put in situations that you just have to deal with, and you don't have to deal with them by yourself. There
mhm,
are people that God will line you with, who will walk with you. Like now, I'll be 5 days in the hospital after the surgery, then I'll be a week at home. And I already have church people from churches asking me, "Do you need somebody to come by? Or you need somebody to cook food?" And I'm like, "You need to who do what?" Yes, sure, because I don't. I've never had anybody help me ever in nothing.
mhm,
And
mhm.
they're like, okay, what do your rent look like? What do your lights look like? What do you? I'm like, I okay. And they're like, go fill this out, put this in for me. I'm just okay. That's the family part. And I get hugs and I get people cry with me. I get guys who call. I get Mormon guys who met me at the hospital who call me every day. Hey Mo, what you got? What you eat? What you cook today? And I'll
Aw,
say, hey, I had a lamb burger. They said, lamb burger? What do you mean? I bought some lamb. I cooked it, made me a hamburger. Like really, so they call and they're young. They call me
aw.
every single day because they know I'm by myself.
Yeah.
So, and I call them. I say, hey, I know y'all busy. They're like, this is Mo on the line. And you can hear them. It's Mo. So that's where I'm going.
Mhm.
That's my life that I'm going to. That's the chapter. I call it
I,
my
I
final chapter.
I think God is giving you that chapter of understanding that his circle of family is bigger than what we usually think it is.
Exactly. Relatives.
Yes.
Relatives, okay, but families doesn't have to be the same blood. And I'm
No.
grateful. I'm so grateful. This Monica had to evolve. May of last year is when I found out the 28th that I had cancer. And now they're pushing towards cancer free in February. So I'm like, oh my God. This has been a rough road, but I was like, okay, I don't want to lose what it's taught me to feed
Right.
into other people. I don't. I've actually, I have an HR background, which we talked about before. I'm not doing HR anymore. I'm doing caregiving, and I'm doing a patient care technician for a hospital. That's what I want to do. Um,
Yeah.
that's what the cancer brought me to that this full circle because I went to went to nursing school and decided I didn't want to do it when my son was young, and it's brought me full circle that I want to be a PCT at a hospital,
Mhm.
and I do caregiving now, and I'm also a Dallas CASA, which is a court-appointed special advocate for abused and neglected children.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm living on purpose, Rachel.
You have your purpose now.
I'm living on purpose. Yeah. And I
You
think we all can do it. We all can do it.
Oh, I'm just glad to hear your story, Mo.
Thank
You
you
have
so much.
inspired me to keep going and keep understanding that there's compassion in strangers, no matter what
There
the
are
world tells you. Yeah. Um, I
definitely.
realized that too, that even the little slightest bit of compassion can change somebody's life.
I'm
So,
proof. I'm living proof. And I have homeless people and people who are going through downtown Dallas that don't want anything from me but a hug.
mhm.
And they, it's like, hey, they call me the shoe shiner's wife because my ex does shoe repair downtown. So I'm still the shoe shiner's wife. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And every time they see me, Miss Shoe Shiner's wife, and you will see 4 or 5 people come out and they all want a hug or a conversation. Or they'll say, hey, we're going to get us some coffee. You going to sit with us? Okay. So I'll get a table and we'll drink coffee, Starbucks coffee, and we have conversation. And they'll say, you're so small, what's going on? I say, I have cancer. And then they'll say, I did too, I do, and we talk. It's like I see them. And I think society does not see those struggling. You don't want to be inconvenienced. And I
Mhm.
think that's the thing that I learned about cancer is inconveniencing. And either
Mhm.
you're going to be there for the people or person or you're not. And it's
Right.
okay if you're not, if you can't.
And I loved what you were saying earlier. You said it's important to take it day by day. Um,
Yes.
because I think a lot of people are in a rush to get from one place to the other, or they're trying to make plans for the future, or, trying to do this and that. And, we live a better life when we start appreciating what each day brings us instead of
Definitely.
what we don't have.
Right.
So, and
Grateful.
I noticed that the way you're talking is that you are appreciating the little moments, the little things that God has given you now a lot more than
Yes.
you did.
Definitely.
And
Definitely. Definitely. I think for me, I always had my head down in HR going after the money. I'm going after the money. I need the money. I got kids. I'm single. I need the money. I need the money. And now that I can get the money, it's like I want to do what I like, and it doesn't pay a lot. And they're like, "Well, how are you going to make it?" God said, "Do what I called you to do, and the money will come." So I really believe that, and I chased the dollar because I never had it, and I wanted my kids to have it, and they did. But now that my son's gone home and my daughter's grown, I don't have to chase anything. Um, just living day by day. I like a thrift store. My daughter goes, "Why do you go to thrift stores so much? You are too much." I said, "I love remembering you too. I love the 70s. Don't show me some funky vest. What kind of jewelry? Oh my God, I found the 8 track. That makes me so happy." And I did not realize that I was miserable until I got cancer.
Mhm.
I was miserable, and that's
Mhm.
how I don't blame my former spouse, but that's how I fell into that relationship because it was miserable. Okay, everything's miserable is familiar, so I'm going to go where misery is. Misery loves
Mhm.
company. I'm miserable too. Let's do this. But when I got cancer, I would look out the same window every time I had infusion treatment, and it had birds, geese, and the sky. And I would look out and I would say, okay, do you want me? What do you want me to do? And I would be so excited in that one window. And I said, well, you know what? The things that I love are the little things. And it's okay for me to enjoy the little things. So coordinating clothes with my hats. I'm a big hat person. That makes me so happy. And I'm like, okay, I'm happy because I got my orange, like you got a neon pink hat on. I'm like, yeah, I got the matching shoes too and the matching bag. Where you going? Up the street? You know what I mean? Because I'm happy doing it. Like podcasting. I love podcasting. I have a podcast. I haven't touched it in over a year or two. And I love, I see what I'm made for. I see my purpose. I'm a talker. I want to do speaking engagements. I have 2 speaking engagements scheduled for the end of this month and one in February. Yeah, I'm okay. Even though I had cancer, it was not the end. It was I always say this. My grandmother used to say this to me. She said, "Do you remember a chunk of coal is actually a diamond, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." She said, "But they have to bang it and brush it against things to get it shaped and then ultimately it becomes a diamond. But what does everybody want? They want the diamond. My grandmother used to say, "You're in your diamond state." I don't think I know. I'm in my diamond state.
Yeah.
I'm in my diamond state, and I want to tell the world, and I mean the entire world, that you can make it by yourself.
Hmm.
God will not leave you by yourself. I never believed it. I used to say, "Ooh, the church people with that statement getting on my nerves," but the truth is, you're not by yourself. He brings you people that you strangers, like the nurses. They all cried. I don't know the nurses from Adam, but they were with me the whole road. And they kept saying we were so worried midpoint that you weren't gonna make it. That because the treatment was getting you. Because I had lost like 20 more pounds, and my hair had all came out really thin at the top. And but
Hmm.
then when I started gaining momentum, they would cheerlead the whole way. So I said, let me cheerlead for other people in different aspects like anxiety. Anxiety is horrible. Anxiety is a real thing. It can stop you in your tracks. I got to a point where I wouldn't go downtown because my ex-husband works downtown. Now I go
Hmm.
downtown all the time. And he thinks it's me, but he's not sure because I walk the same, but I can see him looking and I just walk right past him. It doesn't bother me. That
Hmm.
came from having to deal with the anxiety, depression, and the cancer in that bubble.
Right.
And therapy came from that. And so a medication, and it's just like diabetes and high blood pressure. It's it's a disease. And there's
Hmm.
not a cure for it, but there are accommodations and things that you can do. I'm blessed that mine's in one spot. Mine's in a
Hmm.
spot that can be removed. I have met some people who that it can't be removed, and
Right.
they have feeding tubes. And, they can't eat food; they have to eat out of the feeding tube, and
Right.
they carry it with them. You know how I'm just blessed beyond blessed, and I my story will be remembered when I'm gone. That's
Hmm.
all I got. Maybe my book will be on somebody's electronic shelf. Maybe we'll be floating. Who knows what'll happen from now? But I just know it's important to let the world know that you're a cancer patient, you're a cancer warrior, a cancer survivor. Life is not over. Life is
Hmm.
not over.
Life isn't over. And God's using you still, Mo, through everything you're going. I'm just
I'm
saying,
like, dude, try somebody else, okay? I've been through,
no,
but
he is making sure your story is going to really resonate with a lot of people out there.
I pray so because that is a concern of mine. Is that I feel like people aren't hearing me, but God tells me the people that need to hear are going to hear. So I keep telling myself that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think your journey is a very powerful one, and I'm glad that you're still here. I'm glad
Thank
that,
you. Thank
and I'm happy that you finished your
you.
last round of chemo. And like I said,
Thank
you're
you.
my cancer warrior. So
Thank you. So I'm gonna get
yeah,
you a t-shirt. I have a t-shirt that says Team Mo. I gotta send you a shirt.
I would
You got
love it. Be like,
Team
I
Mo.
need to know.
Yeah, Team Mo. Thank
I love it. And for
you.
everybody out there, are you still on social media currently, correct?
I am. I'm on Instagram and TikTok under the real Mo or Mo Bogar. And those are the two right now that I'm focusing on. Ultimately, I'll be on YouTube, but right now those are the two.
And I did hear that you are doing speaking engagements. So,
Yes, I'm doing speaking engagement for what's called Dallas Boss. And February 1st is I'll have a speaking engagement as a keynote speaker. The focus is cancer surviving. And I have another speaking engagement at Mesquite Fellowship Church in Mesquite, Texas. I'll be a keynote speaker there as well, talking about women and single and overcoming life's troubles by yourself as a single person. So I'll be doing that at the 29th of January.
and how
So
can people
yes.
reach you to speak?
If you can message me on TikTok, because I'm talking every day, I'll say, hey, y'all. So I start off like that, it's me. You can message me on TikTok. You can message me on Instagram under The Real Mo, and I will definitely get back to you. If you're looking for someone to speak, virtually or in person, I would love to be that person. I have a pretty big story, and I don't mind sharing because God has done some amazing stuff. I don't even know how I'm still here, but I am. So yeah, you can message me. I'm good with it. I have it public. If you're a jerk, you're gonna get blocked. You probably already know that. But if you if you want to talk to me, I'm also a life coach. I'm a master life coach, and I focus on mindset. And that's what's gotten me here is having the right mindset. So I would love to teach you how to do it, and I would love to help clarify some things with you so that you can be the next person at a speaking engagement. So
Absolutely. Well, thank you everybody for watching. I'm telling you, I love having Mo on my show. She is definitely an inspiration for me and for
thank
many
you.
of you out there. Please go like and share our YouTube channel. Please share her story. I know someone out there needs to hear it. So thank you, Mo, for being on my
Thank
show.
you. Thank you.
All right.
Much love. I appreciate it.
Yes, and please let me know when your book comes out so I can get a copy of it.
Oh, most definitely. I will definitely get it for you. It's going to be called Motherless Child, y'all.
Yes. Y'all, see you later. Bye.
Bye.